Global time zones are inconsistent. China covers 5 time zones, but Beijing time, which is 8 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time, is used across the entire country. This means people living in Western China can have sunrise as late as 10:17 a.m. and solar noon at 3:10 p.m. Some countries have half-hour time zones, and Nepal is even 5 3/4 hours ahead. Then there's Australia, which has 3 official time zones on the mainland, but some Australian states follow daylight saving time and others don't, which means there's 3 time zones in winter and 5 in summer. The changing of the clocks twice a year adds extra confusion to a complicated system, because some countries don't use daylight saving time at all. Countries like the UK and US introduced daylight saving time during World War I to save energy and money. But modern habits, working patterns and lifestyles have changed. Every year, the US loses almost $434 million in productivity due to the change in clocks. And some experts suggest the biannual change has a negative impact on our sleep patterns and physical health. 63% of Americans want to stop turning the clocks back, while 48% of Americans would like to keep permanent daylight saving time. And Washington is listening. The Sunshine Protection Act was first introduced by Florida Senator Marco Rubio in 2018 and reintroduced to Congress in 2023. Rubio has said that the ritual of changing time twice a year is stupid. Locking the clock has overwhelming bipartisan and popular support. But what does this mean for the built environment? A US study found work-related accidents increased by nearly 6% after changing the clocks, leading to a 68% increase in lost workdays. And a study analyzing 20 years of US government data found there were about 6% more fatal car crashes in the week after the spring ahead change. If we gain an extra hour of light in the morning, darkness arrives earlier in the evening. The sun can be setting around the same time as rush hour, which is problematic for road workers. But it's not all bad. Changing the clocks contributes to decarbonization and cuts running costs for buildings. Daylight saving time can reduce the energy needed for cooling office buildings in summer by nearly 6%. And while heating demand can increase by more than 4% due to starting work earlier, much more cooling energy is needed in summer. Overall, it's a positive impact on the energy use of a building. The US isn't the only country looking to abolish changing to and from daylight saving time. In March 2019, the European Parliament voted to abolish the biannual clock changes in the EU, although this is yet to be implemented. However, Ireland and Northern Ireland could face the prospect of a time zone border if the EU scraps daylight saving time. For half the year, Northern Ireland would be an hour ahead of Ireland. The EU already spans 3 time zones, so if countries start picking their own time, it would create a patchwork of different time zones, according to Federal Minister Norbert Hofer. So, should we lock the clocks, or is the twice-yearly change beneficial for the built environment?